Hello and welcome to Kingston Now. I'm Jimmy Buff. Today we have an interesting show for you, especially if you're a dog owner. That's because recently a group of Kingston dog owners proposed the first ever Kingston Dog Park. What is a dog park? Simply, it's a safe and secure place for dogs to run and play off-leash, something that's currently against the law at 8 of the 11 Kingston parks that allow dog access. In fact, there is no place in the city of Kingston, other than your own or a friend's backyard, that dogs are allowed off-leash. And according to Evie Seidman, one of the founders of the Kingston Point Dog Park Project, well-exercised dogs equal happy pet owners and neighbors, equal fewer abandoned, mistreated, and potentially destroyed dogs. Joining us on Kingston Now is Evie Seidman. Welcome, Evie.
Hi, Jimmy. Thank you very much. Thank you for having us today.
Tell me about the motivation for the dog park. Where did the idea come from?
Well, my friend and I, QC Pfeiffer, went to the commission, to the Recreation and Parks Commission, and told them a little story. I had taken Lexi, who was adopted and a little bit of a problem dog, over to Forsyth Park and tried to find a place to exercise her. And there was no such place. The defunct tennis court had been shut down, so we couldn't even use that any longer. A fellow who was tending the animals at the zoo there said, you know, there's a commission meeting tonight, Recreation and Parks, and you would be welcome to go there and express the need for that. I took his word for it, went there, and made a plea on behalf of all the animals in the dogs in Kingston, who, in order to be well-adjusted and socially pleasing animals and healthy dogs, would need a place to exercise. They listened very well, asked an awful lot of questions, and it was an impassioned plea that we made. And a few weeks later, maybe 3 months later, actually, they apparently took it to heart because they called us and said, if you've got a group of people that are interested in making this happen, we'd like to talk to you about it. Joe Hoffman, Kevin Gilfeather, they were terrific in starting the process of really informing themselves about the importance of dog parks in municipalities.
Kevin Gilfeather
is the director of Parks and Recreation, or Recreation and Parks, and with all the parks that he is responsible for, he found the time to also work with us on laying the foundation for this dog park that we could then take to the city, to the town council, city council, and tell them our story.
What were some of the things they wanted you to look into? What were some of the issues they raised for you guys?
Well, the main thing, there were two main things. One was the public safety issue, and the other was costs. And the budget restrictions were such that it was very clear and it was very responsible to ask tough questions along those lines. And we assured them that friends of the park, and it turned out to be Kingston Point, would take on the fundraising responsibility, and they asked some tough questions about how we would do that and how it would be maintained, and then as for the safety, we, with the city, with Kevin's support, found a professional dog park planner to work with us to lay to design.
There's a job for someone to go and plan dog parks? I didn't know this.
This was an academic in the field of recreation and parks, I believe, and upon retirement, I think she started this as a consultant. And as a matter of fact, there are thousands of dog parks in the country.
That's the good news, is that if there's a person like this, it's probably because they're called by municipalities to come and talk about the feasibility of a dog park.
The wheel has been reinvented so many times that finally there was a big wheel. Yet someone that pulled the information together. She was able to offer all of us, the Recreation Commission, the Town Council, City Council, all of the information and photographs and background for dog parks in the country that work. They all work.
To find out more about the Kingston Point Dog Park, go to kingstonpointdogpark.org or check their Facebook page. Coming up next, we'll talk with Angela Garnier, an early supporter of the dog park and now one of its top dogs. Welcome back to Kingston Now. Today we're talking about a proposed dog park for the city of Kingston. Angela Garnier is one of the leaders of the group spearheading the project, and she joins us now. Hi, Angela.
Hey, Jimmy. How are you?
Good. How did you get involved with the project?
Oh, how did I get involved? I was part of another initiative. Marbletown was also trying to start a dog park about year and a half or so ago. And when we approached Marbletown, they did not have any land. They loved the idea. They said they would hop on with another town if another town had a piece of property. They did not have land. So at the same time we were moving forward with that, I heard that the city of Kingston had hired a professional dog park consultant, and that they were working with this person to pretty much go at this project very organized, and I thought that sounded like something I really wanted to be part of.
Now, the piece of land at Kingston Point Park, can you talk about how that was selected and maybe describe it a little bit?
Yes, it's a beautiful piece of property. It is between the baseball field and Rotary Park. There is an access road that goes behind the baseball field. We have 3/4 of an acre for the large dogs and a 1/4 acre for the small dogs. Both areas will be connected, but a fence between them. They'll have separate entries, and they will have water fountains, benches, lots of shade to sit in. It's a really lovely piece of property.
So what are the expenses in putting together the dog park? Obviously you need to put a fence in.
Yes, there's fencing, there's benches, there is the water fountains, which are costly. The water fountains we're going to have 3 different levels. There's one for the average size person to walk up to it, for the handicapped individual, and then lower for the dog. There is a signage that has to be installed. We will have posted rules so that people understand exactly what's expected and what's allowed at the dog park. Yes.
What is expected and what is allowed? Do you know yet?
Yes, we do know what's allowed and expected. There's on our website, we do have our website is kingstonpointdogpark.org. We have a list of the rules so people can familiarize themselves with them. There's a limit of 2 dogs per person. That is set up so that you really are very aware of your dogs, what your dogs are doing. There's no aggressive dogs that are allowed. Dogs are, there's no toys. We don't allow any toys, no food. We're encouraging people to come, and dogs that come can only be off leash. You can't come into the park and have your dog on leash. Once you take the leash off, it becomes a neutral territory for those dogs, and then they can communicate the way they need to. So there's a list of probably 12 or 15 rules that people need to follow, and it does self-police itself. People that use the park and have a vested interest in it, because it's so rare in this area to have a dog park, people really do protect it and make sure it runs properly.
So what kind of budget are you looking at? How much money do you need to raise?
We need to raise about $100,000. Once again, there's fencing, there's benches, water fountains, signage, some shade. We're going to put some trees in, some landscaping. So yeah, there's quite a bit that goes into it, and we want it to be durable, commercial grade, and we want it to last.
What are some of the ways you're going to raise that money? I mean, the City of Kingston has been pretty welcoming so far, but their commitment to this financially is pretty small. You've got to come up with a big number. How do you do that?
Well, we have put together presentation packets so that we're actually approaching animal hospitals, local pet supply stores, and asking them to help us do the fundraising. So the packets actually include everything. There's an artist rendering, there's the budget breakdown, the cost breakdown, there is the fundraising tier schedule so that people know exactly how they can make donations. We're selling pavers, and the pavers will be inscribed however you'd like them to be inscribed. They can be installed in the hardscape area of the dog park when it's completed.
So a paver is a stone?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brick. We're selling 4 inch by 8 inch brick and an 8 by 8 brick. We'll install those bricks once they're all complete, and we're to that point of the hardscape. Yeah.
Next on Kingston Now, it's Dr. Mike Halstead, the owner of Lake Katrina Animal Hospital and another early supporter of the dog park. We'll talk with Dr. Mike, as he's known, about the health benefits to dogs a dog park offers. Stay with us. This is Kingston Now. Welcome back. Today we're talking about a proposed dog park for Kingston Point, and joining us now is veterinarian Dr. Mike Halstead, owner of the Lake Katrina Animal Hospital. Hi, Dr. Mike.
Hi, Jimmy. Thanks for having me.
You bet. How did you hear about the dog park? It's kind of an interesting thing. Like, they didn't, as a veterinarian, one would think that maybe they came to you, but you sort of had a coincidental finding.
I was just reading the local newspaper at work one day, and the meeting was posted, scheduled for that afternoon. I went to it, and it all snowballed from there.
Did you, now when you saw the notice, I think it was the Freeman, the local newspaper, right, about the council meeting, did you go as a veterinarian or as a dog owner? Because you are both.
Yeah, a little bit of both, I think. I always thought that this would be a great place for a dog park, and we don't have one anywhere near. And I think it was more as a dog owner than as a veterinarian, but certainly both have lended to, hopefully, the development of it.
It kind of seems like a no-brainer to have a place for dogs to run and play in some place. Is it? Do all dogs want that?
Just about all dogs want that, and yes, it is a no-brainer. Dogs, an essential part of their personality comes out when they're off-leash and running free. And a lot of dogs in the city of Kingston really haven't experienced that at all.
Yeah, I understand there's actually no park in Kingston where you can let a dog off the leash. And in fact, there are several parks in Kingston where you're not even allowed to bring dogs.
That's correct.
When you see a dog run, you actually see some sort of like primal joy being expressed. Is that good for them, healthy-wise?
That's absolutely good for them.
Uh-huh.
If you could imagine, the analogy is that they're in prison all day long when they are on a leash or in the house, and they should get to run free on a regular basis.
What are some of the health concerns for dogs who don't exercise enough? Is obesity a problem for dogs?
Absolutely, very much so. That would be the easiest answer to your question. There's a lot though, and regular exercise is recommended for every single breed. Obviously, there are some breeds that need much more exercise than others, but every dog could use some free time to run free.
Yeah, I have a husky who would, if we let her, would pull us to Alaska. You know, she just wants to run. And then we have another breed of a dog who is sort of a couch potato. And that the interesting dynamic of having those two different breeds together, when we bring them to the dog park, they'll be able to do what suits each breed.
They both will follow their suits. Your couch potato will probably have a lot of fun running around for a few minutes and then find a quiet place to just maybe be by himself and lie down, but your husky will probably run until she's done.
How do we find out if our dog plays well with others? Because that seems like one of the big concerns.
It's absolutely one of the concerns, but you really do know that already. From the time if you got your dog as a puppy, there's a critical socialization period. And if you've gotten them to know other people and other dogs, then you're going to know how they react. And most people will. This won't be the first time. If this is your first time to a dog park, it won't be your first time that you're introducing your dogs to other dogs. So you will know. And there are going to be a few little hurdles where, some dogs might not get along, but you have that everywhere in life, don't you?
Yeah, true. And how do dogs work that out? Do they? I mean,
Most
it seems
of the time
like they work it out.
Most of the time they work it out very, very well. They speak their own language, and there's a lot of dog-to-dog interaction that you and I can never comprehend. But yes, most dogs will work it out very, very well.
Are dogs going to be required to be licensed and vaccinated before they get into the park?
They will be required to be licensed and vaccinated, yes.
And it doesn't seem like there'll be a way to check that, so we're going to be working on the honor system there?
They'll have to wear tags,
Uh-huh.
but yes, that will be one of the more difficult things to enforce.
The canine companionship thing, are there breeds that just don't care for other dogs, that are solo in sort of spirit?
There are some breeds that are more tending toward the solo, but I'd say that every breed enjoys some canine companionship, some less than others.
I understand there's going to be two sections to the dog park, one for larger dogs and one for smaller dogs.
That's absolutely correct, and we're calling the smaller section not just the small dog section, but the shy or old dog section.
But don't small dogs and large dogs play well together sometimes too?
Sure. Most of the time it's a small dog that's bossing the big dog around.
I've experienced that myself.
Of course.
Thank you, Dr. Mike.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is Kingston Now. Next, we'll get the last word on the Kingston Point Dog Park from Angela Garnier and Evie Seidman, and we will meet Truffle, one of the inspirations for the dog park. Welcome back to Kingston Now. Joining us once again is Evie Seidman and Angela Garnier of the Kingston Point Dog Park, and Truffle. Hi, Truffle. She doesn't speak yet, does she?
She speaks.
Yeah,
Oh, she does?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of dog is Truffle?
Truffle is adopted. She's a mix. We think she's part chocolate lab, part chihuahua, and part whippet.
She's a beautiful, beautiful dog.
Well, thank you very much. If you could see her run, you would be amazed.
So the dog park will be perfect for her.
Oh yeah, this is one of the babes who really needs to do a lot of running.
Now, when you brought Truffle into the studio here, I saw all sorts of reactions to her, and that brings up a question about the human social aspect of dog parks. It provokes people to talk to other people, doesn't it?
Absolutely. If you're a dog lover, it doesn't matter which segment of socioeconomic line you're from, what culture, what ethnic group, you've got something in common.
You do.
That's right.
Angela, what's the next step for the dog park project? What happens next for you guys?
We're fundraising. We are in the fundraising phase right now. We've had people approach us with different ideas, different events, venues. So we're asking people to come forward, help organize the event, and take it and go with it and help us raise money. That's what we need to do.
Are there grants available for this sort of thing, or maybe do corporations sponsor dog parks? I don't know if that's a direction you want to go or have thought of, but they name football stadiums, for instance. You could be the pet food company dog park in Kingston.
We're certainly open to that.
We will be approaching corporations as well as local businesses. I'm talking about large corporations and local businesses. And we have recently affiliated with the community foundations of Hudson Valley, specifically of Ulster County. And that enables us to raise money that contributions are tax deductible.
Oh, so you're operating as a nonprofit then?
Exactly.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah, we have that possibility, and in doing so, we also support the foundations that give grants as well. So it's a very nice circle of support.
There is an educational aspect to all this too, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
Well, it's in two parts, really. First of all, in order to use the dog park, there's an orientation program. The first 100 participants will be going through it. It's a brief program of maybe 90 minutes where we go over all of the rules. We make sure that there will be a form filled out where we make sure that all the dogs that are going in have their tags and are properly vaccinated, are basically healthy. We get an idea of what their behavior is, and then beyond that, we have an education program that we hope to go into the schools with.
Yeah, we really want to change the culture of how animals are treated, our companion animals. We want to approach young children in schools and really do some role playing so they understand that that there's a proper dog for a home, and that there are certain characteristics to dogs that we need to match them correctly to different households.
Well, it sounds like a terrific project, and I want to thank you all for joining me today.
Thank you so much
Great.
for having us.
Thanks, Jimmy.
That's it for this edition of Kingston Now. We'd like to thank Angela Garnier, Evie Seidman, and Dr. Mike Halstead. To learn more about the Kingston Point Dog Park, to make a donation of time or money, and to follow its progress, go to KingstonPointDogPark.org or find them on Facebook. I'm Jimmy Buff. See you next time on Kingston Now.